Okay, so Lindy, what is your most embarrassing moment?
Okay, well, I have many, I'm an embarrassing person, but my most embarrassing moment is, it was like 2 summers ago, and I was at North Carolina Emerald Isle Beach, and I was there with just my 2 sisters and my mom and my dad. And so I have like my boogie board, right? You know those things? You ride the waves. And so I'm out there boogie boarding, and I've been doing it like all day. And so then I'm like coming in and I catch this really huge wave and I'm like, oh, this is so tight. This is so awesome. Okay, so I'm going, right? I'm like flying and I'm going really fast. Wow. And I'm like coming up to the...
Oh, there's like behind you.
You're like impressed. Like, wow. Okay, anyway. Okay, so I'm going really fast and I see like up ahead of me, there's like an old man like hobbling along. Like he's really like knobby. I don't know what that means. Just a good word. And he's really like scrawny and like
Knobby.
He was snobby.
I know what
like knobby knees.
Are. Okay.
He had like knobby knees and he was like a skeleton.
Like
and he was just like,
arms.
they're knobby. Snobs. Anyway, he was really pathetic. He was just a pathetic looking man. And I was like, oh, that old man better move. And it looked like he was moving, right? And he could have had time to move if he wanted to move. And I think he was just in shock. So my eyes are on the old man. And he's looking at me. And I'm like, oh crap, this can't be good. And my big sister's out there watching me, by the way. She's watching this whole thing. And so I'm like, crap, I'm gonna run into this guy. And so he starts...
He's on the beach?
Yes.
Okay.
He starts to move, but he's not moving quick. And so I slam right into his legs, and he flies, and he fell. It was the worst thing of my life. All right, so then I get up, right? And I like seriously like went into him like bam, like it was like, oh, it was horrible. And he was like, oh. That's exactly. I just remember it like rings in my ears at the beach every year. I go, just like, oh. And so he was like freaking out. And so I like help him up, and I was like, I'm sorry. And he's like, it happens all the time. And I was like crying and I felt really bad and I'm like, I'm sorry. And then he like glared at me. And then I went into the ocean and I tried to kill myself. I really did. I was like swimming so far and I was like, I'm never gonna come back. And then my dad like ran into an old lady that day and like punched her in the face on the boogie board. And so we did the same thing. And he was like laughing and he was like father, like daughter. And it was just so embarrassing.
Oh my god. That's not that embarrassing.
No, it was embarrassing.
Basically, it was my freshman year, and like we this whole group of friends, like we had this whole like group that we sat with, and like we sat at this one table, and it was like kind of towards the door and like away from everyone else because there's like sections in the cafeteria. Like we just sat there and like made it our table, but then like on the other side was like all the cool juniors and stuff, and then so I had to throw away my trash, and I don't know, I kind of didn't like what I was wearing that day, so I was kind of like self-conscious about it. I don't know why. So I was going to throw away my trash, and I'm like, I'm walking into the trash can, and like for some reason I was like looking down at my feet, and I was looking, and then I looked up and I made it to the trash can, which is by all the cool juniors and stuff. So I throw away my trash, and then when I turned, I was like, oh yeah, like I was like, I'm cool now. So I start walking back, but this time I don't look at the ground, and I don't see this like huge puddle of like juice like, in the middle. Okay, this is like in the center of the cafeteria. I don't even see this like huge puddle. So I'm walking, and guess who steps in it? I stepped in the juice. The most embarrassing part is I screamed. So I screamed, and then like people like turned and looked, but I didn't land like a normal person. I landed in a push-up. right over the juice. I don't even know how. But then by the time everybody turned, it looked like I was doing push-ups. Like in the middle of the cafeteria. And then oh my gosh, they all saw me, and then I got up so fast and I ran. I took off. And I got back to the table, and they're like, oh my god, Caitlin. Did you just wipe out in the middle of the cafeteria? They're like, I just it's like, oh my god. I tried to change my hair. Like, I went to the bathroom, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a ponytail. So I like.
So no one remembers me.
Yeah, I tried to like change as much
Elisa, so
Okay.
what's your most embarrassing moment?
Okay, so
my
we had
screen
just flown to Philadelphia.
When date?
It's a long flight, it's like 6 hours. And we got there and I was like really ready to go because I'd never been there before. I was excited. And so I went to get a really big piece of luggage and you know
so good.
because I really have you heard this before? Oh, okay. I just wanted to be I was like, oh, I'm really ready to get out, you know? And so I like go for the big piece of luggage and there's this guy standing next to me. And he was like, what? Hold on. And he was like probably like late 50s. And I just grabbed the luggage and I like knocked into it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm
both
so
hit
sorry.
old men.
That's what made me think of it. I totally had forgotten about it. And then I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he was kind of mad and then we left. No, we still had to wait for our other piece of luggage, but then we left. It was really awkward. Getting old.